The focus here tonight is we're going to talk about things that have been going on in the news. And I brought in here tonight my friend Emade Salem. He is here tonight. Say hi, Emade.
Hi, Joe. How are you? Thank you for inviting me again.
No worries. Well, you know, you and I spend a lot of time talking about world politics and things that are going on. Sometimes we agree. Sometimes we agree to disagree.
It doesn't make me that much happy to tell you today that I told you so.
Yes, and you've told me so. And what did you tell me? You told me?
Well, I told you that the policy of ISIS or the Muslim Brotherhood or Al-Qaeda, whatever names you want to attach to them, is spreading terror. And spreading terror is like what they did last week when they beheaded the American news reporter. And that's nothing new for ISIS, because in 1994 I was planning and plotting with a group of the Al-Qaeda in New York City to kidnap an FBI agent for the same purpose. Agent John, I don't want to say his last name.
We don't.
But unfortunately, this is their way of spreading terror.
Now, this is kind of shocking, but the "told you so" was pretty much saying that the problems were coming here, that we couldn't avoid it.
It is here already.
Right. And we were having these kind of conversations over the last few weeks, and quite interesting. It's noticing that the news agencies have caught up to you.
Well, I'm glad that finally they are listening. It doesn't give me the pleasure, as I said that I told you so.
But you've been telling us so for a long time, Emade.
I have been saying that to the FBI. I have been saying that to the CIA agents who I worked with and I met with and I taught in my sessions in Quantico.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately today, after we released Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi,
now, who is that?
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the head of ISIS.
Oh, he's the head. And we let him go.
He was in, actually, if we get his picture, number 2.
There he is.
That is his picture when he was in Guantanamo.
Should have kept him there, huh?
Well, after that, if you go to the next one, you see that he went out, cleaned up himself, and put some kind of...
You call that cleaning up?
Well,
he's got a beard and a hat, and looks like he's got hair.
He's trying to present himself as a leader, as he made himself as the prince of the believers. He called himself the prince of the believers.
Now, let me ask you something. This guy here wants to create a caliphate.
Correct.
And his idea of a caliphate involves suppression of women.
Correct.
That doesn't mean just covering them up. It means locking them in the house.
He wanted to interfere in everything, every way, shape, or form humans act. They want to take over your liberty.
And he wants to take away the rights of the Christians. If there's Jews, the Aziras, and even Assad's people, the Alawai, he probably wants to remove their rights. Just them.
Not only to remove the rights, it's on his car, and we have a picture of his car. He's writing on the door of his car that Islam Tislam means convert to Islam, you will be left in peace.
Yeah, but he's not even leaving. He's killing Bedouin. He's killing Sunnis. He's killing Shiite.
His own people, the Sunni. He blew a mosque just a couple of weeks ago, and we have a picture of that. And that mosque, they pray the same Quran in that mosque. They pray to the same God in that mosque.
There it is.
And they blow it up simply because it belongs to the Shias.
That's not nice.
It is crazy. It is unhuman. It is barbaric.
But you made something. You made a comment earlier, and you mentioned that ISIS is just a branch of the of the same tree.
It is the same tree. It is the same ideology. The ideology of the evildoers.
And that includes the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, Al-Nusra, and Al-Qaeda.
It's just a different name.
For the same ugliness.
The same animal, the same beast, the same barbaric, savage way of dealing with humans by slaughtering them. I think we should deal with them as they deserve.
Now, not that this is going to happen, but assuming that I was to go ahead and convert to the Sunni Muslim religion and follow his ways, I'd be safe.
That is according to his publicity.
But then I would be going back to the Dark Ages.
Well, they gotta take you back 2,000 years ago before, and that's why he say that I am the successor of Prophet Muhammad. Khalifa or Caliphate, like the Americans say, means successor. So he claimed, or he appointed himself to be the successor of Prophet Muhammad.
Now, just knocking him off is not going to be enough because he's not the ultimate power structure behind it. I understand that one of America's #1 allies in the Gulf, that's you, oh, it's you, okay, the #1 financer behind them is Qatar.
That's Qatar. And
now, not as the government per se, but individuals within the country are, with that little slight nod.
Correct.
Of the Sheikh.
Correct.
They're funding these organizations, their own little toys.
And they exercise their muscles, their financial muscles, by assisting in releasing the second American who's supposed to be beheaded after our first reporter James Foley.
No, and Qatar seems to be messing around all over the Middle East, isn't it?
Yes, they are spreading their money left and right. They're creating news media stations now to start to spread their words their way.
So we're being manipulated. Well, at least some people are being manipulated by them.
Well, it's sad to say that, because now Egypt is aware of that. Saudi Arabia and Emirates is aware of that. Egypt and Emirates start already a bombing campaign against the Libyan rebels, the fanatics, which is the extension of ISIS as well.
Now, my understanding is that during the Iraq War, or the Iraq occupation by the Americans, Qatar ended up building this humongous Air Force base on their land, and I guess leasing it back to the United States, and making themselves, I guess, the most friendly to the Americans.
Well, that's a slick way to say, don't ever attack us.
And at the same time, the United States needs this base.
Exactly.
So now the United States is less willing to take them to task for their evil ways.
And that's why they put some pressure on Qatar to assist in releasing the second American before they beheaded him, and thank God they were able to release him.
That cost money, though, didn't it?
Big money, big money. It's a whole about money, and they have the oil, and they spread their money.
My understanding also is that ISIS has a lot of money from the Europeans, because the Europeans like to pay millions of dollars for their individuals.
Absolutely, and
they actually like to abuse the Americans, but they like to take the Europeans because the Europeans pay up.
They do. But what I am really hoping that we start to know to lower the rules of engagement on our soldiers who will be on the field, to deal with these savage animals and not to tie them up.
At the same time, we also don't really want to become like them, do we?
No, we're not. We're never. I mean, here we are in America, but now they're starting to take American people to be headed there and put that on the media to terrorize the rest of the world and say, this is the savage way we'll deal with you.
Now let's just go to one of the other members of the branch of the tree. Would you say that Hamas is pro-American?
No, Hamas is not pro-America, nor pro-Egypt, nor pro-anybody. Hamas is an extension of the Muslim Brotherhood. They are the military arm for the Muslim Brotherhood. Hamas is blowing bombs in Sinai, in Cairo, sending missiles to Israel, and it's just...
Now, ultimately, they don't want peace.
They say they do.
Yeah, but
the
actions...
Palestinian people is the real people who wanted peace.
Right.
Hamas wanted the funding and wanted the money and wanted the power. But the Palestinian people, unfortunately, paying the price.
Boy, are they paying the price.
Yeah.
You know, I saw them dancing in the streets last night
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself that all those guys that are standing up there on stages are celebrating and dancing, but they're going to have to go to a hotel that night because their houses are
Well,
bombed out.
Do you think there is a hotel left over there?
Oh, sure. There's lots of hotels left over,
well.
but not the ones that they've been staying in. They've been staying little holes in the ground, hiding out like little scared little boys.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a big catastrophe happened there. It's a lot of body bags going on.
Yeah, but if the Israelis would just act like the Syrians, they could have just carpet bombed the place. I mean, they could have just moved up the Katyusha rockets. They could have moved up the artillery, and they'd just go meter by meter, putting a hole in the ground.
Yeah, but I don't think that will be for the Israelis' best interest because they are smart. They don't want to lose the international community. Yes, they can flex their military muscles and carpet bomb the West Bank and Gaza.
Well, in this case, we're talking Gaza, but yeah.
Right, but they don't want to lose the international community, and they still have some rules of engagement.
What's very interesting is that the final ceasefire, the one that's an open-ended ceasefire, that either one can end when they want to, but within the next 30 days, they're supposed to sit down to talk about the additional demands of each party. That their initial, the initial offer of a ceasefire had better terms than this one, because this one, all it says is we won't fire if you don't fire.
Well, unfortunately, they come to that point after they got pressured very hard by the Egyptian. Because the Egyptian head of intelligence brokering the deal between Hamas and Israel at that time. And that's when they finally came into that agreement yesterday. And they try to announce that as victory, and they dancing. But compare how many bodies here and how many bodies there, then...
Well, bodies are too many. And whether they say 1,000 were Hamas fighters or whether they said 2,000 were Hamas fighters, it's an unfortunate thing. But the reality is that many of these body bags belong to people that were killed by Hamas. My understanding is that they killed over 167 diggers out of fear that they could disclose information to the Israelis.
They do. Actually, I do know personally some people who fled to Egypt from Hamas simply because they used to work for the government.
And they know.
And when Hamas find out about them, they start to chase them, and they left everything and they escaped to Egypt. I know them personally myself.
Yeah. No, listen, I wouldn't say that Hamas is anything but an evil-doing mafia, one strong arm of the, But I don't think that, that when I look at the situation in the Middle East, I don't think that Hamas came out the winner. I wouldn't think so. But they're dancing in the streets, and I'm glad they dance in the street. I'd rather dance than cry. But a lot of them haven't been back to their flat houses. You know why they call them flat houses? Because they've been flattened.
It has been flattened, and I understand that. Well, you got people dancing in Iraq as well lately. There is a lady, her name is Soga El-Delemi. Soga El-Delemi is the wife of ISIS leader.
Oh, my goodness.
And I think I got her picture here with him. If we can move to her picture. And that is Soga El-Delemi.
She doesn't look like a very evil woman.
No, actually, she is a Syrian woman. She was in a Syrian prison because she was fighting against the Assad regime. And there is a guy by the name El-Delemi, that's her father's name. And Abu Luqman is one of the Syrian leaders who is coming against ISIS at this moment. And this is a very smart injury for our intelligence to use Abu Luqman. Abu Luqman is a Syrian guy, and he is the one who released Soga from prison.
Right.
And he's taking that as a mark against Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, and he said, I got your wife out of Syrian prison, let me lead ISIS now. And Abu Bakr, of course, refusing. So if our intelligence can get hold of Soga herself, we can get Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, or if we can get Abu Luqman, then we can enforce him against Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
Sounds like a very big soap opera.
Well, it's a big virus, and it's spreading very quickly, and it's very soon will be contagious
Here at our doorstep.
to our doorsteps.
Ah, another told you so moment.
Another I told you so.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I haven't seen them waving the flags in America, but I've seen them waving the flags for ISIS in Europe.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to get the first hit? I mean, I know that the Israelis took a few hits from ISIS from Gaza,
Yes.
but that doesn't seem to be that much of a deal.
Well, actually, you got a couple of missiles went from Lebanon towards Israel.
But that's al-Nusra.
Well, again, you're going to change names. It's the same
Well,
beast.
no, but they're fighting each other. They're not necessarily on the same page.
It's the same beast.
Same beast, different power structure.
And when they get the green light from Iran, they say, okay, well, let's get Israel's attention to the Golan's height a little bit,
Right.
so we can put some breather for Hamas over there.
Right, but they haven't crossed the no man's land, and most of what's coming out is because of the inaccuracy of their troops and what they fire. I don't get the sensation that they, with great intention, were trying to piss off the Israelis, because we both know that in that situation there, the Israelis are very quick to respond.
Well, I think they are responding, and they are responding very aggressively. But I hope that that ceasefire happened yesterday. It will stop the killing on both sides until there is a new project that Saudi Arabia, Emirates, and Egypt
And Qatar.
and no, Qatar begging to be part of that project.
Right.
But they are refusing to let Qatar to participate. They wanted to rebuild Gaza and to rebuild the Palestinian people's homes. And the conditions for that, for Hamas to put their weapons down. And very soon or later, they will run out of missiles, because this is the missiles came through Sudan, like we mentioned in a previous show.
Yeah, but I understand that manufacturing plant isn't there today.
No, Israel sent a couple of planes early morning.
Did they admit to that?
Before anybody else wake up, and they blow it up.
I don't think the Israelis said that they did that.
Well, they deny it, but it's very well known in the...
Well, the Israelis like not to comment on foreign news reports.
Yeah, they do their job the way they should be done.
You know, they really should open up a tour package to Saddam, because I understand they go there a lot.
They do go there a lot, and they go to Iran, believe it or not.
Well, I don't know about that. Supposedly they knocked down a little what do you call it? Drone, spy drone.
They did knock it down, and they try to see what kind of information they have, and they are on the top of the game at this time. But what I am hoping is that finally the Palestinian can get some peaceful resolution, and that consequently will give the Israeli some peaceful way of living, because it's not fun to live under a threat of missiles could come, and you get 4 or 5 seconds to run from your home into the shelter, and
Sometimes that's not enough.
It's not a way of living, it's not a way of life. So let's give the Palestinian home, let Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Emirates to put this project into motion, and I hope Israel will be helping in that, because it will be helpful to everybody.
You know, they talk about the fact that, okay, well, now they're going to open up the gates of Rafah and the Shalom crossing, and I forget the third one, starts with a K, that they're going to open up all these crossings and allow for humanitarian aid to come in. But 50 to 100 trucks have been coming in every day. It's never stopped.
It never stopped, but they need more, because there is a lot of casualties there.
Yeah, and well, also my understanding is that the Israelis, after being pushed by the UN to build UN facilities and schools, agreed to allow cement. And it turns out that the projects that the UN was putting together, they got something like 19 to 20 times
Yeah.
the amount of cement that was necessary for what the UN had asked for to do.
Unfortunately,
And the UN was used as a dupe to facilitate the makings of these warehouses under the UN buildings and these command centers under what do you call it? And
operating rooms and tunnels and so on.
It's really disgusting.
It is disgusting that you take the Palestinian people's food and butter, which supposedly United States sending them, and the
Selling
Arab
it.
world and some of it. And
it's always been this way, Emade.
it's sad to say yes, because since they elected Hamas under the muzzle of the gun that was threatened, and now they are suffering from Hamas deeds.
No, I mean, an example was in after the '67 war, the Six-Day War.
Yes.
Hundreds of millions of dollars of building materials were sent to the camps, the refugee camps. And instead of building facilities for them, it was sold on the black market, and the money was confiscated by the leadership. Not necessarily the Palestinian leadership, but yes, the Palestinian leadership, but also, the Saudis took it, the Jordanians took the money, the Jordanians took the building materials. All these things were taken by because we can't let you build anything permanent because these are temporary facilities.
Well, that is why I'm saying let the Palestinian people finally can have something they call home, something to cry on. And
Yeah, but they're not free, are they?
no, they are not. They are.
I mean, the whole reason
oppressed.
why this war went on for 50-something days was
Yes.
because of the reason was Mashal was saying no.
Yes, he's saying no, but he's cowarding and hiding in Qatar.
I would say cowering. He's living
Qatar.
in a $14 million home. I don't think he's cowering.
He's in a five-star hotel, actually.
Really? Well, his
Yeah.
house is beautiful. You've seen it?
Well, I'm glad the Israeli flattened it.
No, I'm talking about the one in Qatar.
In Qatar, no, I am not aware of that. That
Oh, my
he has
goodness.
houses in Qatar.
Yeah.
And again, this
I
is
would
the
call them compounds because they really don't look like houses.
Yeah. Well, this is the Palestinian people's food and butter. It's sad to say.
Yeah, something like
It's
$12
sad to
million
say.
of their money was spent building him a nice home.
Yeah.
$12 million here is really not that great.
No, it's not.
But $12 million there,
Oh, it's a big money for them.
It's a
of
palace.
course.
It's
It
a
is.
palace.
Yes, absolutely.
inlaid with gold. My understanding, he's got really a showpiece.
I'm really eager to go back to ISIS because I am so concerned about our America.
You should be.
Our America is under a major imminent threat of that virus.
Do you honestly think that they're coming back, or do you think they're already here waiting?
Well, some of them are here, some of the sympathizers are here, but we are trying to keep our eyes peeled. But it takes one lone wolf to go and blow a bomb and kill a couple of hundred people.
I went into the federal courthouse today to do a bankruptcy hearing, a 341, which is basically when you meet with the trustee to discuss your client's file and see if they need any more information. And the funny thing is that all the security that was going on there, and I'm saying to myself in the back of my head, of course, I don't make comments about those sort of things, such as bombs and killing people when you're walking through security. It's just not a good conversation piece.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking to myself, if ISIS is going to mess with us, they're just going to go into a shopping center. They're going to go into a mosque. They're going to go into a synagogue. They're not going to waste their time.
No, yeah, you're right. They're going to go to the shopping malls, movie theaters, sports gyms. And actually, yesterday I was in the gym, just yesterday, and I saw one of Hezbollah
Sympathizers.
Not sympathizer. I'll call him sleeper.
And how do you feel? Because you can just tell by his behavior.
I can see his tattoos, and his tattoos now he start to cover it up with this kind of spandex clothing. But I see the end of it, and I see the beginning of it, and I know he's a Lebanese Hezbollah. And these people, once they go to Iran and get their training there, they start to get allowed to have that tattoo on their arm.
And quite candidly, they're going to do whatever they want to do in life, and then when the time calls, they'll
Well,
do
I
what's
hope-
asked of them, right?
I hope our intelligence today is different than the 90s. And the 90s, it was a
You're
whole...
very hopeful.
I am very hopeful that now we have our eyes peeled and our dots crossed. And
You know,
Yeah.
I'm also hopeful that it doesn't snow in Canada this year.
that's a wishful thinking.
You get my point.
That's a wishful
You
thinking.
know, I have a good feeling it's going to snow in Canada, and I have a very good feeling that they still have many people who shouldn't be sitting in certain chairs.
If you get a chance to look at my book I published recently, you're going to see that I talked about that one day I was in Abu Bakr Mosque basement plotting with the bad guys to kidnap an FBI agent. I already published that in my book.
Right.
And I went and I called the agent at home, wake him up, because I needed extra tapes. We used to have just a regular tapes at that time, and unfortunately we were not able to get that tape. But later on I got the rest of the tape and I taped him, and next morning these people were at that agent's door. And thank God he was fully aware of the conspiracy. Can you imagine if they succeeded to kidnap FBI agent in New York and then beheaded him and put his picture on the...
No,
it would be,
no,
it would be serious.
I would think that that people would change the way in which they handle things.
They will change the rules of engagement.
Yeah.
Because we're putting a lot of restrictions on our soldiers
And on our agents.
and on our FBI agents under the rules of engagement
Or political correctness.
or political correctness. But what these people have from rules and or regulations, they are savage, they are barbaric, they are treating any human being, including Muslims, Christians, Coptics, you name it. Can you imagine if they get hold of a Jew, what they will do to him? So these people has to be treated accordingly, and I think no mercy, no mercy
Quarter, no
whatsoever.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you do about the ones that are getting converted over here and then jump on a plane and travel over there and get even more immersed?
These people need education. We have to start to educate our public. There's so
And
many
political correctness won't allow for that.
Well, we have to change our rules of engagement.
I mean, quite candidly, you don't eat pork, right?
no, I don't.
Okay, I don't eat pork. If I put a sign up on the street that says, "Come to my restaurant, we serve the best pork," or "We got great bacon," are you offended?
No, I'm not offended.
Are you going to go there to eat bacon?
No.
Matter of fact,
absolutely.
you probably won't go there because you know they're cooking bacon there.
No, I don't mind to eat in a restaurant in United States because I know that most of restaurants, they serve pork, but I don't request pork. I order seafood, I order
Chicken?
whatever. I think if you want to be closed-minded and you just boycott the restaurants who serve pork, you're going to have a lot of restaurants to cut, but avoid to order pork.
But that's your right, right? That's your right not to go there where there's a pork being served.
And that's the fun of being an American.
Did you know that they actually had to take down a sign to stop offending a Muslim woman because they were advertising pork?
That's very silly, and I think that is ridiculous. I think I immigrated to this country to enjoy my freedom and my human rights.
And you want everybody else to have those same.
And I would love everybody to have the same thing. And
No,
as
but
I
it-
always said, I'm a colorblind, faith blind, nationality blind.
Until somebody starts using foul language.
That's absolutely right.
You know, someone started calling you a dirty Ahab or Arab. You know, they're obviously trying to offend you. That's
Yeah,
an
well,
intentional offense. And that for which you should take an offense, right?
But talking and cursing at people is not against the law.
But that's offensive.
It is offensive.
Okay, that's my only point. As I'm saying that. But for somebody to disagree with your religion, that's not offensive. That's just a difference of thought.
It's a different belief. You believe what you believe, and that's what the Quran spilled it.
And you love America because it allows that freedom.
I am enjoying my freedom as an American citizen, and I hope everybody else will do so. And that's one of the reasons ISIS fighting America.
Doesn't want those freedoms.
They don't want this freedom. They want it to control your behavior, how you eat, how you drink, how you sleep, how you get married even.
Well, we're going to go to a break right now, giving people the chance to contemplate some of the things that you're saying, and we're going to talk a little bit in a few moments. And if you have any questions or comments and you want to tell us how terrible we are or how great we are, we're at 888-565-1470. You can watch us live stream on wwnnradio.com. And once again, thanks for listening to us on 1470 AM. This is Attorney Joseph Bryan, and this is the People's Advocate Hour. And we're going to go take a break right now, and we'll come back in just a few moments to continue this conversation.
Are you losing sleep at night due to your debt situation? Call Attorney Joseph Bryan today to sit down for a free consultation to discuss your rights. The People's Advocate is the trade name of the Bryan Law Group. The People's Advocate provides services to individuals and small businesses in bankruptcy, foreclosure, short sales, loan modifications, debt relief, consumer law, and estate planning in the South Florida area. Your initial consultation is free of charge. Proudly serving the South Florida community for over 21 years, Attorney Joseph Bryan will listen to your concerns and discuss options available to you. For more information, please call the People's Advocate at 888-828-9008. That's 888-828-9008. You are listening to the People's Advocate Hour with South Florida Attorney Joseph Bryan. He keeps you informed about your rights when it comes to bankruptcy or foreclosure and wants you to be part of his show. Call 888-565-1470 and help him help you get informed. Now, back to our show.
ISIS.
Well, this is the People's Advocate Hour, and we're back and we're talking about the enemy of the Western world. Yes, I'm not exaggerating. I really mean that. We are an advanced society living here in America. We have more rights than the Europeans have. We have more rights than any other country on the planet. We have the Bill of Rights that, even though they have been abrogated bit by our federal government and by attempts of the law to limit our rights, ultimately we're still the free, the home of the free, the brave. People are willing to say what's on their mind. People are willing to say, this is what I think. I don't give a dang about it. And this is a great country. But we are threatened. We are threatened by the left, who want to lock us down into their political correctness to the point where we don't really want to discuss their issues on any real level. I mean, I'm shocked. Before we go back to ISIS, I'm looking at this situation over in Ferguson in Missouri. And with all due respect, he was a thug. Okay? Listen, nobody deserved to be shot like a dog. Nobody should be shot down the street like a dog. Okay? But the guy's a thug. Okay? And if you're not going to call the guy a thug and you're not going to give some honesty to the conversation, you lose credibility. And nobody seems to want to come up there and say, this guy here, strong-armed from this short little Asian guy's store. The Asian guy tried to say, no, you can't leave, you got to pay for the price. He pushed him out of the way. And then when the Chinese guy said, well, I'm going to call the cops, he came back in and threatened him. And this isn't some small little 4'2" black kid, little 18-year-old little child. This is a full-fledged 270-pound black man who is 18 years old, an adult. And let's get something very straight. It's come out very clearly that the police officer had his right eye socket broken, and his eye literally popped out of the socket and had to be put back in. I mean, I'm not saying it's hanging off of his face, but literally it was bulged out of the socket by the severe headbutt that he received from this individual. And quite candidly, he was a fleeing felon from the store. Once you attack a police officer, that's battery on a law enforcement officer. Now, I'm not a great lover of police officers. Don't get me strong here, okay? I'm very polite to police officers because they know they can pistol whip me and get away with it. But just the same, okay, just the same, especially in Hollywood where the rules are different. Just ask anybody going to Piglet School. Piglet School being cadet school, when you're learning to be a cop, they always talk about what the rules of engagements and the proper policy and the proper procedure for a police officer, and then they always throw in a caveat, except it's different in Hollywood, and they'll tell you when you get there. Because it seems like Hollywood police officers don't have to follow what is considered the average way of dealing with things. But that conversation aside, okay, I'll be honest with you. You headbutt me in the eye, and I'm a police officer, and I'm going to shoot you. Okay? Okay, it sounds like he fired 10 bullets. He's a bad shot. Okay? But, you know, I don't know. I've taken Israeli combat shooting, and I've taken some other combat shooting classes, and my experience is this. When somebody is charging at you with a gun or a knife or charging at you, you do what's called zipper 'em up. You start low and you start shooting up until the guy goes down.
And that is your rules of engagement?
That's the rules of engagement. If a guy's coming at you with a gun or a knife and he's trying to attack you, you zipper him up. You start low and you work your way up to the head. If a guy's just firing at a bullet at you, you try to get center mass. But if a guy's coming at you, you need to stop him, and that means you have to, what they say is zipper him up. Go shoot him up the body, up a zipper.
Usually the way they set the rules of engagements is just double tap only.
Yeah, but not everybody shoots as well as you do, Emade. I've been on the range with this guy, okay? He doesn't do a smiley face, but he does put them pretty close together.
Yeah. In the 9 maximum, no less than the 9.
You see, there you go. So, modestly speaking, we both know that you're a crack shot. And obviously, this police officer, from the way the shots were flying out, either his eye was bulging to the point that he could barely see out of the left eye, which is probably what was going on. Because quite candidly, but it appears that he just shot until the guy stopped.
Yeah, all of that I think will be clear in the investigation and all what we
But
need.
political correctness in this America is the same thing that we're dealing with where ISIS is concerned.
That's correct. That's absolutely right. ISIS is concerned about your liberty and my liberty, and they want to control what you eat, what you drink, how you dress, how you pray, who you believe in. And once they want to put they want to put ISIS flag on the White House.
That's fine, but at least I'll be able to beat my wife.
No, well, this is ridiculous, because if you see the way they treat their women and the way they treat their other Muslim people's women, it's ridiculous. In my book, I'm talking about one of the Muslim people's wife, who he sent his wife to serve the blind sheikh and to cook for him, and instead of he thank him and thank his wife, he was hitting on her. And I have that chapter in my book.
So in other words, all these religious guys aren't so nice.
They are power seeker, and they just hide.
Egotistical.
They hide behind the religion.
No, it's kind of funny though, because I mean, in the caliphate, you know, if a woman walks up to you and she's got 2 black eyes, you know what you're going to tell her?
What?
Nothing. She's already been told twice.
Oh, that's just a Joe Bryan's joke.
I understand that, but no. The truth of the matter is that women's rights will go out the window when the caliphate comes here to America.
Yeah, they put a lot of restriction on women, and they wanted to dress them according to their code. And it's funny that I was in a discussion a couple of years ago with some of these fanatics in one of my conversations, and one of them said that the women should wear hijab. I said, okay, what do you think? He said, no, hijab is not enough. The women should wear khimar. And I said, okay, what do you think? The third one said, no, that women should wear burqa. And each one have a different interpretation to what Sharia law said.
You know, they got very mad with Michael Jackson, because when he was over there in the, I think at the Arab Emirates, he liked the burqa.
Yeah?
He liked the burqa. He liked to wear one. But he didn't wear a black one. He wore one like multicolored and stuff like that. And they really didn't like Michael Jackson's idea of wearing a man wearing the burqa. Although I do understand that that some of the terrorists like to wear burqas.
Well, they sometimes wear burqas to be able to do some manipulation and some counterintelligence for surveillance and so on. They don't mind to do that. And I mean, look at how the blind sheikh escaped from the Egyptian house arrest. He escaped in his washing machine. He requested the mechanics to come to fix his washer. Mechanics got picked up by his followers outside, and they changed into their clothes. They came to the house where he's under arrest, and they took the machine to the shop, and unfortunately the blind sheikh was inside it and went to Sudan from there.
I guess he didn't clean up his act.
No, he did not. From Sudan, after America gave him a home and a shelter and a place to live in New Jersey, instead of be thankful and be patriotic and say that I love America, he said, I love America on CNN, but next night he was telling me in the kitchen, go build bombs and blow up the American army.
Now, they just don't like us.
They don't like our way of life. They wanted to impose what they think is right.
They guess they really want to bring down the one power for the light or for the greatness and bring it down.
Yes, absolutely. That's unfortunately their way of thinking.
As long as America is a strong power for right, they will always have an impediment to their success.
Yeah, but you are talking about the America I know and I immigrated to 30 years ago.
Right.
Today, I don't know, with our administration today, we are very, very, how can I say it politely, we became a wussy country.
Would you say that it has something to do with the fact that the president doesn't have a real clear idea what the heck he's doing?
He does know what he's doing. He wanted to change the entire frame of America. He don't like America as such. And I made that clear on my website by putting his picture when he was dressed in an Arab outfits and his brother next to him holding an Yemenian dagger in his cloth. It saddened me that you wanted to fundamentally change America.
Now, you don't call him, what do you call it, President Barack Obama. You
Barack
call him,
Hussein.
you skip the Obama altogether. How come?
I call it the way I see it.
You don't really see him as a pro-American.
He is pro-America, but in his way. America who he wanted to create. America who doesn't lead the free world. We have obligations when things hit the fan around the world. They say, where is America? Where is the leader of the free world? We have to act up upon it and be as such.
What? President Putin isn't the leader of the free world?
I hope not. I pray to God. I pray to God not.
You know.
Putin is flexing his muscles now because we see our wussy, and I'm sorry, I hope I am not offending our government. I respect the office of the president, but our president, unfortunately, is...
He's on vacation?
He's just came back. He just came back from his golf vacation in the midst of huge crisis in Russia, in Crimea, in Iraq, in Syria, Americans getting beheaded around the world. We lost respect, we lost our posture.
We've lost our power to influence.
We did, but we are still being required to go and send aids and send military again.
Right. Because if we don't engage at the early stages, we're going to pay more money in the end.
At the end, the virus will spread until our land, and then we be unfortunately.
ISIS.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, where do you think ISIS is going to go first?
They will go to Europe first.
Closer.
Yeah, closer and softer target, because I'm sure that our intelligence is really, hopefully, I believe in them, and I know.
The truth is ISIS is friendly with Turkey, aren't they?
Well, because the headquarters of the Muslim Brotherhood, the international headquarters of the Muslim Brotherhood is located in Turkey.
Do you know that they want to go back to their own concept of the Ottoman Empire? I guess a caliphate of their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
They want to go back to influencing, they just said from Sarajevo?
Yes, they call it El Sham. They wanted to take back all of these Arab countries and control it as a sham and control it as one unity, and that's what will give them the power to go over.
No, right now they're a little bit more politically correct than you when they say it, because they really just talk about influencing where they've always been.
Yeah, I think so.
And I mean, they're talking as Sarajevo is Yugoslavia.
Yes.
So they're saying they want to. Turkey wants to go back to influencing Armenia.
They are trying to do that, and I hope that we are watching and not allowing Turkey to go into that Muslim Brotherhood crazy way, because unfortunately and sadly, Mr. President Barack Hussein is financing the Muslim Brotherhood until recently.
It's shocking. But so is Qatar.
Well, Qatar, they are not hiding it. I mean, at least they have the courage to say, yes, we are financing the Muslim Brotherhood. But America not saying that, and yet inviting 7 prisoners from the Muslim Brotherhood to have lunch in the White House.
Now, President Obama has another 2.5 years as president.
Now, I'm sure he wanted to get out by now from the pressure he's facing. A lot of pressure.
It doesn't look like he's enjoying the job anymore, does
No,
he?
he's not. No, he's
He
not.
does like fundraising.
Yeah, but there is a lot. They are trying to distance themselves from him, even the Democrats, unfortunately, because he started to be a very bad influence on their campaigns.
It's unfortunate that the polls don't look like they're going to improve in what do you call it? I wonder how he's going to be remembered as one of our better presidents.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Unfortunately, even I did vote for him.
You know that it's now part of the nationwide curriculum of students that they now, as of this year, have to discuss the importance and the greatness associated with the Obama.
No,
They're actually being required to teach in schools how significant he is and how significant to American history he is by being the first black American.
This is what they do in Saudi Arabia in madrasa. God bless the king. God bless the king, and they have to be taught how great the king is. And
I mean, from my standpoint of view, I don't see how he's going to come across as one of the most successful presidents in history. But I would wonder that it would appear that his influence through the education department and his influence through the left-leaning people
it's not going to last for a long time, because he had so many scandals on his hand now.
Wait.
And all of these scandals is heavily on his shoulder.
I wonder how he's going to avoid the IRS scandal.
Well, that's why there is a federal judge now in charge of that.
Do you know what we just found out today?
That all the emails exist.
And all the emails were backed up and always have been backed up.
Yeah.
And and they've never acknowledged the fact that they have them backed up.
Now I hope that there is something called accountability.
But could you picture if it turns out that the White House utilized the IRS to undermine the right-wing organizations that were trying to get their tax exemptions?
This is the fundamentally wrong.
My God, will he resign or will he be impeached?
I hope. I think when the pressure gets strong, he might, because he doesn't look healthy anymore.
You've ever heard the phrase in America from the frying pan into the fire? Can you picture? You know, you're saying Barack Hussein, and I'm saying Joe Biden. I mean, okay, with all due respect, he has brain damage.
Well,
with all due respect, he is brain damaged.
I don't know about that, but I hope
it's a medical condition. No, I'm not even playing with you here. He's got brain damage.
Okay.
Okay,
well,
then he'd become the president.
It shows in some of his motion he do. In every piece of video I saw for Mr. Biden, he got to do something funky.
Yeah, you should have seen it. He was hitting on a 101-year-old woman who had like oxygen tank sitting right beside her. Could barely get out of a wheel. She couldn't get out of a wheelchair if she tried. He's there trying to schmooze her up. He was giving her kisses.
I don't know. I mean, he's a funny guy.
There you go. Well, that's
But
one way
I
of describing
really
it.
don't need a funny guy in the White House.
No, we
I
need a
leader.
strong leader with a vision for this country's future.
Absolutely.
Do you love America?
I do love America.
Do you like saying "I told you so"?
I'm not proud to say I told you so, and I told so many people so. But I hope that we are having our eyes peeled. I hope that the American people are very vigilant lately. Don't think you're gonna waste your energy. If you see something, say something, because there is no smoke without fire.
It's scary right now, though, because the political correctness that has happened in the last couple of years, where things that were politically incorrect were done, are no longer done. You know, they no longer do profiling. The police officers are no longer allowed to do profiling on, even with any exceptions, they've been taken away.
Well, that's what the administration imposing on our law enforcement, and I'm sad to say that I would love to get into our law enforcement officers and teach them how to spot the hot person from the normal, regular person.
But having the sword of Allah tattooed on your arm,
that's a big flag. That's a big flag. You have to pay attention to it.
visiting sites that have a whole bunch of anti-American rhetoric.
Yeah, I think that the FBI...
Now, don't misunderstand me. You go to those sites all the time, though.
Well, I don't.
Oh, yeah. How are you getting half this information? Just you're pulling it out of the air? No, come on now.
I keep my ears close to the ground. That's all. Because I love my choices. I love my America. And I will do whatever it takes to make my voice heard. And I thank you for inviting me to your show, to give me the opportunity to say something might help somebody and might open the eyes that we are heading into a very dangerous virus.
And we want to stop as many opportunities before they become opportunities. We want to stop disasters before they happen. We don't want to have people going into our malls and shooting people just because they don't like people that don't think like them.
Absolutely.
Now listen, this is the People's Advocate Hour. It's sponsored by the Bryan Law Group and the People's Advocate out of Hollywood, Florida. Our offices are located in downtown Hollywood. For free consultations, 954-320-6940. Emade Salem has a great book called Undercover, available through Amazon.com. We'd love for you to go there and check out his book. It gives you an idea of why he has the expertise that he has. You know, quite candidly, I was always saying that the 93 attack on the towers was going to happen again. It's just a matter of when. But I didn't have the insider knowledge that Emade said. And for those years leading up to the 9/11 attacks, Emade was saying that this is not over. They're not finished. This is the target. The target's going to be hit again and again until they bring it down. Understand, they don't care, do they?
No, they don't.
We do. We love America. We love you, the people. That's why this is the People's Advocate Hour. Once again, if you have any questions, give us a call at 888-565-1470. If you send us an email through the radio station, we'll respond to it at the next show. Once again, we thank you very much for joining us. This is the People's Advocate Law Hour, and we'll be back again next Wednesday between 5 and 6. Once again, thank you very much for being here. We love you. God bless America.
You have been listening to the People's Advocate Hour with Attorney Joseph Bryan. Join Attorney Joseph Bryan next week on the People's Advocate, as you need to know your rights when it comes to bankruptcy or foreclosure. You can also contact our office at 954-889-7443 for a free consultation. The opinions expressed on the preceding